This video is for Avery, Carrie, and Ruth, and anyone else that wanted to see how I do my sourdough starter. The first thing you want to do is get 125 grams of sourdough starter. And then I add 125 water. And 105. Okay, I have to calculate. Well, I already measured this flour, so I'm gonna go with it. And then you add 105 flour. Then I stir it up real good, and I just let it set until it doubles in size. So I've been using this rubber spatula, the silicone spatula, and you want to clean the sides really good so that you can see where the top of it is. And I put a rubber band where the top of it is. Anyways, and so then you leave a little bit of your sourdough starter on your spatula and let it like dehydrate. It actually dries pretty quick. And you're supposed to save those dehydrated little pieces in case you ever destroy your starter. And you can start with these dehydrated little flakes. And then just use one of your rubber lids. This is actually a fermenting lid, but and it's fine. Just don't put it on tight. And then I set it right here above my little stove. And in a few hours, it will have grown. It doesn't, I don't usually wait till it doubles, but as long as it like grows at a good rate, then I go with that. So in 3 hours, it doubled. I'm kind of surprised how quickly it doubled. So now I will make my loaf of bread. And here's my spatula all dried out. And oh, it's almost dried out. And I'll store that in one of those little jars. So you do 300 water. And then you add 170 starter. So we want 470. Well, that's close enough. You want 430 flour. Close enough. And then you stir it up with, I use a wooden spoon. I don't know if it really matters. You're supposed to not use metal, but I don't know how serious that is. And then I literally stir it for like 30 seconds, and it's really shaggy looking. And then I'll cover it for about 20 minutes, and then I'll come and add the salt. And now I need 7 grams of salt. Perfect. And then you just take it and you stretch it and you fold it. I do this like maybe 7 or 8 times until I feel like that salt is all incorporated. And then I let it rest for like 30 minutes. I incorporated that salt and I just stretched it and folded it maybe, I don't know, maybe 12 times. And then for the next 3 hours, I will stretch and fold it every 30 minutes to an hour. So I took everything that was left over from when I made the bread and I dumped everything except for 45 grams of starter. I left that in this jar, and then I added 45 grams of water, and now I'm gonna add 35 grams of flour. And I'll mix that up, and it will be ready for me next time I want to get started on making a loaf of bread. So it's all ready for the next step. I can either make it into another starter for a loaf of bread if I wanted to make one tomorrow morning, or I could just actually just stick it in the refrigerator, and it's called a fed refrigerated starter. It's that simple. Just a lot of steps. And then this discard is just, I leave it in the refrigerator, and then you can make crackers out of it or pancakes out of it. You can find a lot of recipes online for inactive sourdough starter recipes. And here's my little dehydrated flakes that I'll just keep on the shelf. This is in the morning. It's nice and risen. And now I form it into a loaf. So I got a little flour. And then dump the bread on it. And coat it with flour. And then I just make it like a rectangle. Fold it in thirds and in thirds. And then flip it over. And you just pull it till it gets tight or taut. Too much flour. Gets kind of tight. You put it in the parchment paper. There you go. I preheated the oven with the bread pans in it. My oven is 400 degrees. Put the bread in, and then I put the other one on top of it and put it in the oven for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. So it's been 20 minutes, and I just take the lid, the top pan off the bottom one, and put it back in for 20 more minutes, and I still keep it at 400 degrees. 20 minutes later, and that's what it looks like. So we'll put it back in for like 10 more minutes, and I turn it down to 350. And there it is, all done.